Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Shikhar, as you know that this incredible journey that we've been of India and that has come through in this book, Democracy on the Road, is really something which is not just about a political journey. It's a true journey of India because the one time that India comes alive is at election time. And that's what we have consistently seen. Some of you may not know the background to this, but it was in February of 1998 when this idea came up that the best way to see India,
when Ruchir was 14,
that the best way to see India is to basically go out in the hinterland when a major election is taking place. So 5 of us got together. I put this group together back then, and we decided to take our first election trip of India. And since then, we have done 27 election trips. It's a group now of 20 of us. We have done this every year, at least one trip. It's been over 20 years now, as you know. And more than that, the distance traveled after the last trip was literally equal to 1 lap around the earth. Because on each trip, we typically clock at least 1,000, if not 1,500 kilometers. So this book is really a product of that in terms of what we have seen, what we've experienced. And I know that the initial focus is the politics, but it's really about how does India feel, taste, smell like when you go out there to these various states of this great country.
So this is Ruchir's labor of love for all these travels, and these travels have not ended. Travels will continue.
Yes.
So Ruchir, your biggest learnings, 3 biggest learnings from these travels?
Well, I'd
Besides
say
the fact that nobody drives on the left and nobody gives you a pass.
Well, I'd say the biggest learning is that, you know, one of my favorite lines in the book is that changes upon changes, this country remains the same. And why I say this is this, that the opening chapter is about my childhood in a place called Bijnor. It's 160 kilometers east of Delhi, in the heart of western Uttar Pradesh.
If I may interrupt you, remember when we caught up with Mayawati in Bijnor?
That's right, in February of 2002.
Yes.
So the first trip was back then. At that age, you were not really given a choice. Your parents told you that summer vacation was upon you, and so you went to your grandparents' residence, no matter where that was. You weren't asked, like most people today ask, in which place in Europe or Australia do you want to go to. You went to basically Bijnor, which was in the heart of Uttar Pradesh. So the first 15 years of life, I did that. And the average travel time from Delhi to Bijnor, 160 kilometers, was 4 hours in terms of the time it would take. To write the closing chapter of the book, and this is the only 2 chapters outside the strict ambit of the election trips, I went back late last year to write the closing chapter of the book. 160 kilometers, it still took me 4 hours. And that for me is the remarkable story about India, that when I would go there 35 years ago, there was one road, one pontoon bridge which you would cross, and so it would take you 4 hours to get there. Now you go there, the roads have widened incredibly, 6-lane highways. You have much more concrete bridges out there, but the time taken is still the same because of the explosion in traffic and all sorts of encroachments and industrial developments that have come through there. So that's what I find is the story of India, that we want to learn stuff, we want to see what has changed, as you ask. Yes, things have changed, and yet in many ways things haven't changed. The other thing which I also found when I went back there was the fact that, you know, in the urban areas, we almost find it politically incorrect to speak about caste. And yet when you sort of go outside of these urban centers, you realize that at least when it comes to the ballot box, caste still plays such an important role in terms of what it is. So the old cliche that Indians don't, you know, just cast their vote, they vote their caste, is something which is still so true today, which I feel in places like Bombay and other places, we're almost in denial about that.